So Jules, you've always known Hogan, you've always admired him.
And loved him because of the kind of man he was. He was a special man. He had a great soul. Anybody that loves children and dogs can't be too bad. And he had a little dog called Bogey. And when Bogey died, they buried Bogey outside Shady Oaks. And when he went to the marker, kissed his fingers, touched the marker, and tears came to his eyes.
Hey Jules, can we take your glasses off so I can see your eyes?
Good idea.
I love seeing, your eyes are so expressive. I see your eyes tearing up, but you can't see it behind your glasses.
Oh, right, right.
That's a touching story.
Now, I saw him in 1959 at the Open when it was at Wingfoot, and he just looked different. And I was a photographer that could recognize, I wouldn't say talent, but I could recognize a good subject, whether it was a scene on a golf course or a human being, an actor, anybody. And I thought, this man, I'm going to follow him all day. And that became 3 days, 4 days. And it was at Wingfoot. Well, only 2 tournaments, Wingfoot and I think it was called the Thunderbird. It was at Westchester in 1971. Photographing him at Wingfoot was amazing because no one followed him. I photographed him on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then during the tournament I used 3 cameras in that picture that we were talking about yesterday. On the 14th green, where he stood there and waited while Claude Harmon went into the Cochran house. He was in there long enough for me to take pictures with 3 different cameras. And I think Ben Hogan posed for me. I think he actually stood there and said, I'm going to give this guy a nice shot. And he crossed his legs, put the putter down, held the handle, and looked in the direction of the Cochran house. And it took 4 or 5 minutes to take use 3 or 4 cameras. One of my best and most glorious pictures was that picture of him holding what we never figured out in his hand. He's got his hand like this, his right hand. He had his shoes made in England. He had a last over there. Paid $1,000 for a pair of shoes in the late 50s.
That's a lot of money, Jules.
That's a lot of money.
In 1950. That's
Yeah.
a lot today.
And those shoes are at the World Golf Village in St. Augustine. That was for the cover of the Met Golfer. And I had to go to Hawaii. They were playing in a senior event at I think it was Waialae. And I had 10 minutes to do the picture because it was early in the morning and they were going to play in the tournament. So there they are sitting outside, all 4 of them. You know, there were 50 major championships between the 4 of them. Interesting. In fact,
Remarkable.
It's remarkable. And I looked at the 4 of them and I thought, wow, nobody better than these 4. Gather yourself. And it reminded me of what Henry Luce said to Eisenstadt, who was chief photographer of Life magazine. He called him into the office and said, Eisy, which was his nickname, I'm sending you out to California. You're going to photograph Greta Garbo for the cover of Life. Eisenstadt shook his head and said, no, I can't do that. Why not? He said, those people scare me. I've never photographed actresses like that. So he poked him in the shoulder. He said, Izzy, they're the best at what they do, but you're the best at what you do. Get yourself out there. I'm your boss. You're going out there.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
That's how you have a passion for your work, Jules.
Oh, yeah.
You
I
love
can't
your
wait
work.
to shoot.
Yeah.
You know what's good about being a photographer? I think even when I'm driving in a car, I see more things. I'm always looking. That would make a good shot. Sometimes I go past, if you're driving 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, and you're looking and you see something, you're already past where it was. turn around, make a U-turn, and go back. And I've done that a number of times. We were in Ireland, Dan and I were in Ireland, and I saw two white horses, mother, daughter. It's just a beautiful shot of two horses neck to neck. You got to do that. You got to photograph every day like you have to hit balls every day. I'm going to take pictures today of some kind of picture, probably of you. Yeah, that came about because Golf Magazine sent me down TPC, Tournament Players Club, Jacksonville. And they put a towel that said Golf Magazine across Peter, who was wearing a bikini pair of underwear shorts, and holding the club. And it was 3 pages, 1, 2, 3 pages, spread out. 25 years ago. He was great. He made everybody relax, as you said yesterday. Keith Fergus, Rex Caldwell, Payne Stewart, Greg Norman. 5 of them. 25 years ago. And that was done because they wanted to do a spoof on a previous issue that had the LPGA wearing sleeping bedroom clothes. And so they said, let's do something with the guys. That was great. That was just fun. How about... I photographed Tiger at least 10 years ago. The first pictures in my book, Tiger Woods in black and white, show Tiger as a thin 20-year-old. 10 years of photographing him. Never talked, I haven't talked to him still. No need to. Tiger's out there and I'm probably a long telephoto lens. There's no need to talk to him. He's like Hogan. You know, whatever he does is going to make a good picture. Tom Lehman hitting a bunker shot where I set the camera at an 8,000th of a second, which is the highest shutter speed, and the ball is frozen, as you can tell in a video when they stop the video. But you can read the letters, Titleist, on the ball. And the sand is just a cushion of sand around the ball. Lucky shot, because you have to know where to focus. You have to focus where the ball's going to be. Ball's here to start with, and then when the picture's taken, it's got to be here. The shutter, you only get one crack at it. It wasn't a sequence, but I get a sense of timing. I can get a picture of a guy hitting a ball and the club face on the ball in a full swing. I'm successful many times doing that because I feel the swing going in and I know when to start. There's a delay. You know, it goes from your eyes to your brain, down your shoulder to the shutter. That takes millisecond. And do you know that in most cameras, including the one I use, the mirror, which puts the image on a viewfinder, comes up so the light can hit the film and then it has to go down to be ready for the next one. And that happens like that, quickly. So I think that there's a millisecond in a golf swing. You tell me if I'm wrong. We really don't know at moment of impact, that millisecond, what you've accomplished, whether you've hit it good or bad. Just but same with a camera. When that thing goes dark for a split second, you don't know whether you got a good picture or not. Till the mirror comes back up and you can see it.
It's an art form.
Photography is for sure, so is golf. You? Is that who she is?
Yeah, besides me.
Yeah, I have a favorite picture. Would have to be of Mr. Hogan, right? That's
Yeah.
one of my favorites. I think even Ansel Adams would accept it now because it's getting to be so good. Now, the only difference that I see, having been a film photographer for so long, is that film, when you see a print made from film negative, it's made on silver gelatin, which is a chemical print. But when you make a digital print, it's ink, which is sprayed on a piece of paper. A lot different than chemicals on a piece of photographic paper. And there's still, to me, a difference in the tonal quality between film and digital. No question about it. With the right post-production, a digital print in black and white, which is what I'm talking about, can be, on a scale of 1 to 10, as they say, maybe 9.5, but on a black and white film, it's a full 10. That's my point. That's the difference. And I can almost look. If I go to a museum and see Ansel Adams prints, I can always say, or any good photographer in black and white, that's a black and white print. And I went to Ansel Adams' workshop, Carmel, and I looked at his prints from here to there, and I thought, no one better. He's like a Hogan. He is the Hogan of photography, Ansel Adams. His prints were so beautiful, and he did them in the 20s and 1930s. He was so dedicated that he had a mule with the saddlebags, put the film in the camera, he used a big camera, 8x10. Climb up a mountain, the mule would carry all his equipment, tripod, big camera. And if the light wasn't right, he'd wait. He'd sleep in a sleeping bag till the morning. Is that passion? To get the right light?
That's passion. That's fun, Jules.
Yeah.
Jules, you've taken pictures of my family.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember early on in my career, I remember you taking a picture of me, I think maybe right here at Westchester. And I thought, man, Jules is following me today, and he's going to get a picture just like he got a Hogan. It made me feel so proud. And I saw some of those pictures, and I thought, wow, that's the coolest picture I've ever seen of me. I still have it at home.
I'll tell you what happened once. There's a young player, who's a junior champ at Wingfoot, and when his mother saw the Hogan book, she said, I want to hire you to photograph my son. He's a good player. And do it at Wingfoot on the West course. Kid was good. We got to the 16th hole. I said, you know, this is one of my favorite holes. I have a good picture of Hogan hitting his second shot from the fairway on this hole. And if you hit your tee shot where he did, I'll take a picture of you at the same part of the swing. Can you do that? He said, yeah, kids are great. No fear. He hit it within 10 yards, and this is like 40 years later.
Yeah.
So I got a shot of him at the same spot, just past impact.
Oh, wow.
And they went nuts. They looked at, I made him a lovely print.
That's beautiful, Jules. You touch a lot of lives through your photography. You've touched my life and my whole family. I've got pictures of Mary Catherine in the fields in Colorado.
Right.
In the flower fields.
I remember
Karen,
that picture. Right.
Beautiful, beautiful, with all the beautiful flowers and my wife pointing out a flower to Mary Catherine. I mean, in your yard, you took a picture of us in that Japanese maple tree with all of us like staggered, stared up through the tree. It was beautiful. We loved that picture of our family.
Picture of you and Karen at Cypress.
At Cypress Point. That's exactly right. We were newlyweds back then.
Boy, that was a while ago.
Oh man, 20.
Most people, see, digital has overtaken photography. People can buy a $179 camera and get 1,000 pictures on a little tiny memory card. That's incredible. No film, load a camera, take the film out, develop it. Takes forever. Here you got bing, 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 bing. Everybody's a photographer, but that's a general word, photographer. Remember what I told you about Mr. Bebon?
Yeah.
How much are these snapshots going to cost me? You take snapshots, I take photographs.
That's right. You corrected me last night about snapshots.
Do not use that word with me.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
Picasso was at an outdoor cafe in Paris. A woman came by and said, Pablo, do something. I'll pay you anything. Just make me something. He said, yes, madame. So he took a napkin, and he took a pencil or a pen, and he made a great big circle like this and signed it, Pablo. And she said, how much do I owe you? That's good. And he said, 10,000 francs, which at that time was a lot of money. She said, what? For 5 seconds of work? He said, that wasn't 5 seconds, that was 40 years. That's why you go out and with a client, you go out with like someone like, and people say, how could you charge that much for a picture? Well, it's 50 years.
The instant that Tiger Woods made his putt at Torrey Pines to get in the playoff at the U.S. Open.
First of all, there's a lot of luck in photography, really. There's a lot of luck. You have to be there and ready, which is preparation, which is one of the questions. Preparation. It's like a painter. Whatever he does before he puts the paint on. It's all important stuff. Preparation. But that's what you try to do. You try to look And right now it's middle of the day. Not a good time to take pictures. I like it late afternoon, early morning when the light is this way rather than this way.
And Jules, in that famous picture, you've got the whole background of the stands. Every person's face
Exciting.
is in focus.
Yeah. Well,
And
the camera does that.
it's instantaneous.
Yeah.
But you were telling me that not one person was standing where you were, inside the ropes.
Yeah.
All the photographers, you've actually got them in that clip behind.
Yeah. That's preparation.
They're
That's
not-
going before he makes the putt, way before, and looking and saying, well, I'll take it from here, because if that putt goes in, everybody's going to go crazy.
And he turned right to you, which was really extraordinary.
I didn't plan that, but it was
Yeah.
luck. See, that's what I mean by luck.
It worked to your favor. And you had the only photograph, and it was used in Sports Illustrated?
No, Golf Magazine.
Golf Magazine.
Double page.
Double page, which
Spread.
is really cool.
Yeah, and a handful of people said, I want that picture, and wrote to me. 2 girls in Hawaii sent me macadamia nuts because I sent them a picture. Well, color shows everything the way it really is. But there's something about a black and white picture that grips you. It's a classic representation. The tones are beautiful that you don't see in a color picture. You know what Ansel Adams said about color? If you have to shoot this thing, huh?
What do you think he meant by that?
Well, what he meant was keep shooting so till you get enough color in it so there's a lot of red in it and it jumps out at you. There's a great photographer named W. Eugene Smith. He photographed the war in World War II, and his pictures were so dark, but he explained, don't look at the picture as what the picture shows, but look at the picture as what shows in the picture. So when a print is dark, you have to really look at it. It wasn't so dark that you couldn't look at it. You'll see it. And just think, he had in the book, Tiger Woods in Black and White, I have a preface where I say, 50 years ago, great photographers had one camera and one lens. They didn't have a bag full of stuff that they have to reach in, get a wide-angle lens and change it, get a long telephoto lens. One camera, one lens, always ready. The picture that Eisenstadt, who we referred to before, took of the sailor kissing the girl in Times Square, that famous picture, when the war ended, celebration going on. He's shooting, everything going on. And suddenly, and his camera is set, one camera, a Leica, which he used, and one lens. It's set for the overcast sky, the distance, maybe an average 12 feet, and he's all ready for the next possible shot. And a white flash, he says, goes by, and it was the nurse who was kissed by the sailor running by. And the sailor grabbed her, and he spun around. He didn't even focus because it was all pre-focused. And he went, click, got that one picture. You couldn't do that with a Nikon with a telephoto lens or go into a bag. You see, that's luck. That's being ready. The picture I have of Payne Stewart on the green, luck.
You mean from a distance?
Yeah, it was at Kiowa. I was in a grass bunker, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's playing with, I think, 3 others, 3 caddies. There's a whole bunch of people on the green. And he's plumb bobbing a putt. White +4s, white hat, red socks. Now I was at the right height of my height that I didn't crop off his feet because I was below the green.
Oh.
So I was high enough to see just the soles of his shoes and that, and then a blue sky and nothing else. And the other golfers and caddies were not in the picture. How long does it take to plumb bob? Less than 2 seconds, sir.
Right.
Okay? Boom, it's over. Lucky, because I was in the right place. If I was here, it wouldn't have been any good. If I was there, higher, I would have seen the background, telephone poles.
Mm-hmm.
Lower, I would have... Lucky.
That's where, as they say,
Look at my picture.
preparation meets
Well, yeah.
opportunity, right?
Preparation does meet opportunity. Look at the picture of Saracen on the porch at Augusta. I was so excited to be there, and the credentials I had allowed me to eat upstairs where the players eat. I walked upstairs at 6:30, and I saw the squire sitting in a chair, staring out like we're doing now, staring out at the putting green and the golf course. I said, Mr. Sarrazin, may I sit down? He said, yes. There was another chair there, so I sat down and I looked at it and I thought, wow. I hate asking people to pose, you know. It's just the man's private. He's enjoying a moment or moments. I said, Mr. Sarrazin, I'm here on an assignment. I'm a professional photographer. And what you're doing now would really make a great picture. I promise, if you let me take a picture, I will take only one. I don't shoot a whole bunch of pictures. Please, feel free to take a picture. So I took this one picture. And you don't have to take more than one. Just make sure the camera's ready. And there he is, looking out at them. Do you know, we talked about Quarry in Naples today. His daughter came up to me because I had my name on the credential. She said, I love that picture of my father. Would you send me a print? This is like 30 years later.
That's a beautiful picture. I love it too.
Yeah. Man is quiet, sitting out there looking. He's got his little spectator chair. It says G. Sarrazin, Marco Island, Florida. Right on, he's got a marker on it.
Yeah, that's a beautiful setting on that porch too.
Here's what Paul wrote on a picture. I played Augusta with a member.
Is Paul Alexander?
Paul Alexander.
Paul Alexander.
Yeah.
Your son,
Yeah. And I said to the caddy, it was the Monday after the Masters, I was still there. So I played, and I said to the caddy that was caddying for me, look, I put a camera in the golf bag. If you see a moment where you might want to take a picture, because I'd love to have a souvenir of me at Augusta. So he said, sure. I said, it's all set, 12 feet, exposure set for the sun today. So he takes a picture of me addressing the ball on the driving range. And there's Sevy looking right at me. For whatever reason. So Paul wrote in the white border, I've seen Sevy watch Jules, but I've never seen Jules watch Sevy. The same thing like they say about Nicklaus and Hogan.
That's right. That's right. You touch a lot of lives, Jules.
Yeah, well, I'm glad if I do.
Jules, this was great.
Yeah, fun too.
I've loved you so much. You're 84 years old
84,
now, and young as when I first met you.
Yeah.
And you filmed Crenshaw. You filmed all the great players through history.
Yeah.
And since the 50s, and we're just honored that you would come and give us
Thank you.
a little slice of your life and let us honor you on our website, because we love you, Jules.
Fun for me. I appreciate your asking. Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you.
We're in your studio, and it is beautiful to be here, Jules. You're going to sign
Thank you. Good
your famous Tiger Woods book for me, which I feel so honored to have. This is the inner sanctum right here.
I signed it on the plane. Look. Your signature's on plane.
Signed it on Tiger Woods' plane. And what does it say, Jules?
Right, look here. This is what I was talking about, preface, page 11. You see, here, pre-focused. I call this article focused because I'm focused and golfers are focused. As digital photography begins to replace film, I'm reminded of some early film photographers like Cartier-Bresson, Eugene Smith, Robert Capa, and Eisenstadt, who roamed the world with just one Leica camera and a single lens, and yet took such magnificent pictures. Unlike all the accessories available to today's photographers, they were unburdened by too much equipment. It kept these photographers from missing the perfect shot. Too much equipment of any kind can really ruin you.
Over-analyzing like in golf, huh?
Yeah. Hey, look at here. Photographers know it. to my dear father, who put a camera in my hands when I was 12 years old. To my wife, Dana, who encouraged me for 40 years. To my sons, Paul and Carl.
How's everybody?
Etc. And look who's here.
How are you?
Hey, Paul,
Things good
Chip
to see
Beck,
you.
you're on
Yeah.
Candid Camera.
Great to see you. You
The
look great.
the
Yeah.
great son, one of the great sons, you and
Oh,
Carl.
the great father. Yeah, feeling
Huh?
good.
I'm taking video in the inner sanctum here, and he's going to put it on my website now. You
That's
think,
great.
and he just signed the Tiger Woods book to me. Isn't that something? Got all the
This is a room full of golf. Feel it.
golf
Someone
and
sits there
everything.
walking
It's
here.
beautiful though. I love this place right here. I always feel honored to be here, Jules.
Yeah.
So God bless you and thank you, Jules.